Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about, the 5 reasons why men should be on semen retention. That's going to be the main topic of today's video. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. So just to give a little bit of a background and also give some personal experience, I've been practicing semen retention since May of 2022. So I was 19 when I started. I'm 21 right now, so it's been about 2 years. The reason why I started practicing was because, I wanted to get stronger and reach the goals I've set in life sooner. Because, you can reach the goals in your life without, going on this. It's definitely possible, but, I found it to be easier because, just because it promotes discipline and, self-control and things like that, I find it easier to, go to the gym and, do these other things and also do them more consistently, right? So, semen retention has definitely helped make these goals a lot easier for me to reach, which is why I'm practicing it right now, right? And during my time practicing semen retention, I've had, multiple 30, 60, and even, my highest was around 93 days, somewhere around there. I stopped counting the days after a while, so I'm not sure, but I know it was definitely over 3 months, right around there. So I pretty much hit all the streaks that you see commonly, popularized in the community. So I know what I'm talking about. Just a little bit, not too much, but I know a little something, and that little something is definitely because of my 2 years of experience, right? So this is kind of a disclaimer because I know there are going to be some people like, oh, semen retention doesn't work, woo. Well, it depends on if you need to do it or not, because if you don't need to do it, then don't do it. Don't do it just because some guy on the internet told you, oh, you should be on semen retention, right? And I'm gonna break down to you, how do you know if you should do it or not, right? So you should, and heavy emphasis on the should, because not everybody will, but I find it best that you do. So you should be practicing semen retention if, number one, you're not married, or you're at least in a healthy and happy relationship. You don't want to be sleeping around with any and everybody. That's how people get caught up, because the last thing you want to do is have a baby with this child, or you get caught up, you get something from them, you know what I'm saying, and y'all not even together, right? You don't want to get caught up with the wrong person, especially not at the right time, right? You also want to do it if you're not satisfied with your current life position, or you simply would like to do more. A lot of people in today's age, are not satisfied with where they're at. They would like to make more money. They would like to be a little bit more physically fit, whatever that is for you. And even if that's not what that is for you, even if you just like to do more of what you're already doing, both of this is definitely possible. And you should definitely practice semen retention if you want to do that, right? So the next thing is going to be, you want to build yourself up in all aspects of your life. So it's much easier on SR. I promise you, I've tried to do it, without being on this journey and while doing it. And it's a lot easier because, you're more focused on yourself. You're not worried about women. You're not worried about, trying to be out and be all over the place. When you're on this journey, you're going to be focused on yourself and building yourself up. So it's definitely a lot easier on semen retention, right? And the last one is going to be, if you truly desire to be married, it's best to restrain yourself until the proper time comes, right? If you want to be married, you don't want to finally get to, the love of your life, and you can't enjoy the experience, or it wouldn't feel as good as it would have if you would have just, stayed celibate. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be messing with any and everybody, and then you finally get with the person that's really meant for you, and you can't enjoy that experience. And I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more later, so don't worry, we're gonna touch ground on it more later. So it's important to remember that semen retention, it's not gonna be forever, right? This is not a forever journey. I'm not sitting here and telling you, oh, you have to practice semen retention until you're like 50 years old. No. Me personally, I plan on getting married. I plan on eventually one day going crazy. Like, I'm trying to go crazy. I'm trying to have sex, but as much as I'm trying to have sex, I'm also trying to have it and have that relationship at the right place, at the right time, with the right person, right? And it just, like I said in the last slide, it just makes sense to do that more. It just makes sense to not, mess around, right? Just wait and just calm down. Understand that, women aren't going anywhere. If anybody's going somewhere, it's going to be, men, right? There's always going to be women around, which means there's always going to be a chance for you to, find somebody and get with somebody. Don't worry about it. Just chill for a little bit, right? And that's what semen retention is. It's just meant to be a certain period of time where you're focused on your self-improvement. All right. This is especially true for men, as no one is going to put in the work for you. You as a grown-ass man, you as a full adult now, you have to do it for yourself. Women are not going to do it for you. Your children are definitely not going to do it for you. You as a man, you have to do it for yourself. So just lock in for a little bit so that you can mess around later, right? And, it's also true because most successful and accomplished people have went through a period of time where they just focus on themselves and their goals. You can look up pretty much everybody. Everybody has been through an experience, and everybody has been through a time to where, they were just they weren't in the clubs, they weren't messing around, and, they were focused on something. They were locked in on something, and they were, working daily towards that goal. And, that's why it's important, just for a certain period of time, right? That's not forever. They're probably doing whatever they want now, but for a certain period of time, they just focused up. That's very vital to your success. You have to go through a time to where it's just you, and you got to be okay with that, right? So semen retention just serves to be the foundation for using your time and energy on your purpose rather than your pleasure, right? And we're going to talk about purpose a lot more because it's a lot important to remember when you're on this journey and when you're practicing semen retention. So we're going to definitely touch, ground on that more. But the last thing that I would say is, do not get too caught up in counting the days, and do not make this your God, right? Semen retention is not, the be all end all. It's not the beginning, nor is it the end, right? Just focus on practicing it, and focus on the things that are going to come from you starting this journey, not necessarily just retaining your seed. Like it's bigger than just not busting a nut. And that's why a lot of people they think bad about it because they think that's all it is. No, it's just the start of it, right? So just to kind of touch ground a little bit more, what is semen retention? So it's not to be confused with NoFap. NoFap is different simply because you can still release during sex, right? So you can still, you can still nut, but, with a woman. So you can have sex, right? With, semen retention, there's absolutely no ejaculation. So you can't release through sex or masturbation, right? There's no releasing at all. You're just completely, holding on to, your seed. You're not releasing at all. All right. And there's been debates about, you can have sex, for people who are in a relationship or even married. It's like you can have sex with your wife or whoever and not release, and that's possible, and that's true, but I wouldn't recommend it. The whole point of having sex is to orgasm, or at least I would like to believe so. That's the case for pretty much everybody. So I honestly wouldn't recommend having sex if you're trying to retain. It just doesn't make sense. The same also applies with edging. Do not edge. It's not okay. I wouldn't say it's not okay, but it's just not the best for you because you're still engaging in the act. You're just not releasing. So it's like you're not really turning away from it. You're just now in a little bit more of a situation where you feel comfortable with yourself, but you're not necessarily changing because you're still kind of doing the same thing, right? So semen retention for these reasons is definitely harder, but I would say it's worth it for sure. Right, so are there any benefits to semen retention? So I would say yes, but the benefits are going to vary. Everybody is different. Somebody may experience this, starting one day and then starting another day. Everybody has different progressions because everybody starts at different areas and different points. So everybody's different, right? But most of the benefits that you're going to see are gonna start from the first day that you begin your streak, right? You're not gonna get to day 7 and oh, you gotta wait till day 7 to start being confident, or how these the timelines and all that stuff. It doesn't really matter, right? You shouldn't want to wait until day 30 to do anything, right? Just start being more confident. If you want to be more confident, just start being more confident the first day. Start being less anxious the first day. You know what I'm saying? Start being more productive the first day. You know what I'm saying? Change the way you see yourself the first day. Don't wait until a certain day. That's kind of weird, right? But like I said, people are going to be like, oh, there's no science or anything, and that's fine. But like I said throughout this whole video, I'm just speaking through and from personal experience. So I would say the best thing for you to do is to just try it for yourself, and just see how you feel as time goes on. But personally, for me, I experienced 5 main benefits, and to me, number 4 is the most important, especially if you want to go on like any long period of time. Like I said, like the 30 days, the 60 days, the 90 days. If you want to go that long, you're definitely going to need number 4, because it's going to be very important to you. So make sure to stay tuned for that. So number 1 is going to be, you will have a lot more time and energy. And this is kind of, logical, right? Because, releasing and having an orgasm, it definitely takes up a lot of energy, right? Like, it takes energy. Like, you not going to release and then just have more energy and just go get up and do stuff. Like, more times than not, you're going to want to lay down because it makes you tired, which means it's taking up your energy, right? So, obviously, when you stop releasing and you stop spending time, watching porn, and then the releasing could even be like, even if you're releasing with a woman, right? Not necessarily, because people think like releasing, think about masturbation. Not necessarily. It could even be with a woman who, let's be real, isn't even worth your time. And especially the same for, when you're spending time on porn, because porn is definitely not worth your time. You're just naturally going to have more time and energy. Like, this is just common sense. The less time you spend, on the websites and on your phone just in general, and the less time you spend giving your attention to women, because, that's what women want. They want your attention. The less time you spend doing that, the more time you're going to have for yourself and energy as well, right? And with this time and energy, you're going to be able to be more productive. So you're going to be able to spend more time on activities that you enjoy. So that could be, anything, whatever it is that you like to enjoy personally. You're going to have a lot more time to spend on these activities, which means it's going to bring more joy to your life, because now you're doing more of the things that you actually want to do, right? And I have a whole video where I talk about, time, energy. I even go into why money is important, and also your emotions as well. Link to that video will be in the description, and also at the end I'm gonna make sure to put the link to it so y'all can go get that one too, because that's a good video. But that is covered more in depth later on, right? So number 2 is gonna be that it improves your physical health, right? So for me personally, I've had better performance in the gym and in sports. Like, I feel stronger. I feel like this is just kind of common sense. It's kind of, you're not gonna feel as strong if you just release and you go to the gym. Like, going back to even the energy part of it, you're not gonna want to go to the gym after you just released. Like, that just doesn't happen. It's possible, but it just doesn't correlate, right? And then the second one that I say that I see a lot personally is clearer skin. Now, this happens, about a weekend or so. But, don't just think that, it's just semen retention alone. Like, I wash my face, I take care of myself, I practice self-care as well. So make sure that you're still washing your face and doing all that stuff. Don't just think just because you're retaining your seed, you're gonna get clear skin. It's going to help because you're holding on to your your energy now, and there's obviously things that are in your semen that's that's not placebo. That's real. You can go look that up. That's just gonna help your skin be clear, right? And the third thing would be that it definitely improves your your libido. So for those of you who don't know, your libido is your sex drive. So this generally peaks, same thing with the clear skin, it generally peaks about a week in. You'll start to see it kind of ramping up about 7 days in. And this is also because testosterone peaks around this time as well. Again, that's not placebo. There are studies about that. You can go look that up. I might even put a picture up on the screen to show you that that's not fake, right? But what's the most important to remember around this time is you're going to be extremely horny. Like you're gonna be horny for no reason, and that's good. Don't take that as a bad sign. That means that your body is recovering. That means your body is healthy. Because the truth about it is, bro, if you're not horny, you're not healthy, right? If you don't have that libido and that sex drive flowing through you, you're not healthy. You're more than likely doing something that you're not supposed to be doing because there's an absence. You're supposed to want to, like, have sex with a woman, but at the same time, you need to know how to control yourself as a man, which is again why semen retention is important, because it's going to teach you that self-control, especially around women, right? And speaking of women, don't worry about the female attraction right now. It's gonna come in its time, right? So you're gonna be heavily attracted to females. Like, all the women you see are just gonna look, very pretty. I don't know what it is, but that again, this is not a bad thing. Don't take it as a bad thing. Take it as a good thing. When you see this, be happy, because you know that you're getting somewhere, on your practice, right? But a lot of people, they get caught up in the female attraction. That's a big thing in the community, and that's where a lot of people often get misled. Is they just think about the female attraction. You don't have to be on semen retention to get female attraction, right? I had girlfriends and all that stuff when I was, releasing every single day. It does not matter. It's not something that is only, relevant to semen retention, right? You can get women and still release every single day. It doesn't matter, right? And you honestly shouldn't even worry about semen retention. I would go as far as to say that if you're on semen retention for female attraction, then you might as well just quit, because it doesn't even make sense to put yourself through all that. You don't need to do that, right? It helps, but don't make that your main focus. Never make women your main focus in life as a man, especially when you're trying to, improve yourself, because women are not necessarily focused on you. Women are focused on what's going on in the world, keeping up with their friends and all that stuff, so it's hard to maintain that focus when you're so focused on women, right? Don't focus on a woman, especially if that woman is not focused on you, right? Don't worry about it. It will come in time. I promise you. You will naturally attract women. The better that you become, the more money that you make, the more successful, and the more goals you achieve in life. I promise you, bro, it's gonna come in time. Don't worry, right? So the third thing is going to be that it improves your mental health. So you're going to have better focus, and you're going to be more motivated. It's going to be a lot easier for you to stay focused and to stay motivated, and to improve. It's going to improve your self-esteem as well, and how you look at yourself. You're going to feel better about yourself because you're starting to gain full control of yourself. So you're no longer giving into your urges. You're no longer, every single time you feel like, going crazy, you kind of have mastered yourself, and you can say no to yourself. That's a big superpower. That's pretty much the foundation of discipline, is saying no to yourself, is denying yourself, right? So when you do that, you're gonna be focused, because you're not thinking about releasing every single 2 seconds, right? I'm trying to smash something every single 2 seconds, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you to stay motivated as well, right? And you're going to have more confidence in both yourself and your goals. So you're going to realize that, you'll see the results of your efforts as time goes by, right? So you now in the mindset of, you're no longer in the mindset of instant gratification, to where, you think that you're supposed to get everything right now. You do a little bit of something, you're supposed to get everything you ever wanted. No, you've kind of changed your mindset to, okay, this is going to come later on. I'm not worried about it right now. Same thing I just talked about with the female attraction. I'm not worried about that right now. I know that's going to come, especially the more that I focus on the process. And that's what semen retention is going to do for you above all else. It's going to help you focus on the process, which is improving yourself through this practice, right? You're no longer going to be worried about the days. Don't worry about all that stuff. The more disciplined you are, the streaks will come. The milestones will come. All of that stuff will come. Just focus on the process. Just focus on waking up every single day, becoming 1% better, and getting everything that you need to get done, right? Just focus on that, and I promise you, you'll be fine. Right? So another section to this is that it's going to improve your interactions with others. So you're going to feel less anxious when you're talking to others, and this is going to go, especially for women, right? Some people, they don't have social anxiety. Some people have more than others. This kind of varies for everyone, but if this applies to you, this is definitely true. If you start on semen retention, this is because you're no longer worried about trying to say the right things, trying to come up with these corny pickup lines and all this stuff. You're not worried about that anymore. So your conversations, they're going to be more natural, and they're going to be more carefree. You're not going to care because you're not trying to smash this woman. You're not trying to say the right things and tell her all the stuff that she wants to hear because you're trying to get up in there. You get what I'm saying? Your conversations are just going to be a lot more natural, right? And you're also going to be able to improve your ability to connect with others. This is because you're going to be more productive, which means that you're more than likely going to be trying new things, and you're going to have good experiences, right? You're going to be having good experiences, and that's going to lead you to more conversation topics. So people that you normally wouldn't be able to, connect with before because, they spend most of their time doing activities that you don't, you're now going to be able to have better social interactions with these people because you can simply relate to them more because you're doing more, as you will on this journey, right? So number 4, and this is, in my opinion, the most important one, and that is that it improves your spiritual health, right? This journey is about the spirit, right? It's not about necessarily about money, no materialistic things. It's not about women. It's not about all that. It's because it's about improving yourself, right? And the best thing about how it improves your spiritual health is that it helps you to form a healthier relationship, not only with yourself, but also a stronger relationship with God. Like, I will tell you, it is borderline impossible. I would almost go as far as to say that it's impossible to go any length of this journey without God, without His help, without His strength. It's very hard to do this alone, at the very least. Even if you're not like super religious, you're like, oh, God this, God that, all right, whatever. Even if you don't have like an accountability partner, if you don't have somebody that's staying up with you, or somebody that you have to stay up with or want to stay up with about what's going on in your life, it's going to be easy for you to fall back into the same habits that you were because you feel like nobody's really watching, nobody really cares. It's going to be easier for you to fall back into these things, right? So I would definitely say forming a stronger relationship with God will help make your experience on semen retention easier. And a lot of people will say how. I would say the first thing is that it definitely will help you to hold yourself accountable for your decisions, because let's say you're constantly praying, what I'm saying, you have a strong relationship with God through prayer. It's going to be a bad experience, and you're not going to feel good about yourself having to ask God for forgiveness again, or you're not gonna go watch porn and then go pray. Like, nobody does that. You know what I'm saying? And if they do, it's because they're praying for forgiveness, right? After a point of time, you're just gonna stop wanting to ask for forgiveness, and you're just gonna hold yourself more accountable before you go through with the decision, right? And the second one is that it will remind you that you're not alone, even during a period of isolation. So even during a time where you're all by yourself, it's comforting, and it's a good feeling to know that somebody's with you, even when nobody else is really around, if you get what I'm saying. And if right? If you've been on this journey and you've went anytime, first of all, make sure to comment. Let's get a conversation going in the comments. I'm gonna make sure to respond to you guys. Let's talk about this a little bit more, but I'm telling you, it's very hard. Most of the people that you see go any length on this journey, they have some type of spiritual connection. It's very hard to do this without some type of spiritual connection, right? And it's going to help you to understand that you're being isolated for a reason, right? You have to understand that everything happens for a reason. You're seeing this video for a reason. You're watching this video for a reason. You know what I'm saying? This video didn't pop up by surprise or by coincidence, right? You got to stop believing in coincidences, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why you're being called, and you feel like you're being called. This is more than likely because you need to, right? Maybe you need to go through that time where you're not really around anyone else, so that you can really focus on yourself, right? And more times than not, you get isolated because it's time for you to elevate, right? And sometimes it's okay to step away from people and to take a step back and not be in everybody's face and not going everywhere to really get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to, after a while, you're going to have to, decide what you want more. You know what I'm saying? Do you really want this life? Because if you really want this life, you're going to have to really earn it. You're going to have to really work hard for it. So understand that it's okay to be alone for a while, right? It's just for a while. Like I said in the beginning, it's just for a while. This is not the rest of your life. It probably won't even be the majority of it. Just for, even maximum like a couple years. Maximum. Just like me, right? Most people don't even practice it for that long. Or at least I don't think so. Just for a couple years. Just lock in for a short period of time so that you can elevate yourself in life. And I promise you, it will be easier for you to do that, right? And the last point is going to be, through improving your image of God, you're also going to improve your self-image. And this is because you're going to realize that you were created in the image of God, the most powerful being in the universe. Surely he embedded some of him within you, which means that if God is all powerful, even though you're not all powerful, it's going to show that, and that should show you that, you're powerful to some degree just because you were created in his image and you believe that, right? So, just to dive a little bit more into this, right? It becomes easier, to be on Semen Retention because you're no longer defiling your spirit and allowing your flesh to control you, right? So it's easier for you to improve your health when you're not defiling yourself anymore. And this is even shown in the Bible, right? In 1 Corinthians 6 verse 18, right? And I'm gonna put it up on the screen so y'all can see it. It says, "Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body." So even the Bible is telling us, look, if you're doing this, you're only hurting yourself in the end. You're not hurting anybody else but yourself. You're only sinning against yourself, which means you're defiling your spirit. All right. And we can even go to Galatians 5:16 through 26. And I'm gonna be quick with this. Again, I'm going to put it up on the screen. It says, "So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like, yada, yada, yada," right? "I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying each other." Right? So these verses alone just show you, just to go a little bit more in the spiritual realm of things, that it's not good to, sleep and have sex outside of marriage. It's not good to do these things, right? You're clearly just messing yourself up. And once you start to understand that, you'll then be able to become more stronger spiritually, and you'll also be more aware. And, the Bible talks about that in Ephesians 6 verse 12, and it says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms," right? So you're not fighting just against, your flesh. You're not just fighting against, your meat or, whatever it is. The true battle is between your spirit. And that's the case because, once you go a good while in this journey, you have a couple relapses, you're going to realize that, you relapse or whatever, but the true battle is lost in the spirit first before it's lost in the flesh. And, Matthew 26:41, it talks about that. It says, "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak," which means that, spiritually, you're willing, but your flesh is weak. And if your spirit is weak too, then you're just going to be a weak person. Your spirit has to be stronger than your flesh. And again, on semen retention, you're going to become spiritually stronger, right? And more aware. So this is just going to help you win that battle, which is going to help you go longer on this journey, because you're not going to keep giving into that desire. You're going to have control over yourself now, right? And then when you start to do that, you'll start to see the fruits of your spiritual labor. And that's the fruits of the spirit, right? Like we said, the fruits of spirit, love, joy, things of that nature. Those things are going to start to show, right? The Bible also says, you know a person by their fruits. The fruits of the spirit are going to start to show in your life the more that you actually start to tend to your spiritual life, and especially, to your relationship with God. 100%. This is very vital. If you plan on going any longer than, I would say, a couple of weeks, you need to take this into consideration 100%. Right. And last but definitely not least, it's something that you can feel proud of, right? Most of the things that bring instant gratification, they feel good in the moment, but they feel bad later. So watching porn, like, it feels good in the moment. It feels great when you're releasing. It feels good when you're doing the act, but how do you feel when it's done? You don't feel better about yourself, right? When you start to do semen retention, not even just retaining your semen like we talked about, when you start to actually improve your life and you actually start to change and make changes to yourself and actually start to grow, you're gonna feel better about yourself. It's gonna suck, right? But that comes with success. Success comes with sacrifice. You have to give in order to gain. And if you want to gain everything that you can in this life, you've got to give it everything you've got, even if that means giving up everything that you currently have. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people, think that they can just, put in the bare minimum and get the maximum. And that's why a lot of people, they're delusional now. This is why even, not even delusional people, but, that's why you see so many people scamming, and, they're just trying to get it fast. They're just trying to get it like this. They don't understand that when it comes like this, it's going to go like this, more than likely, eventually, right? So you're going to feel better about yourself, right? And that's not to say that, you're always going to feel good, or that you're always going to feel bad. You're going to feel good and you're going to feel bad. There will be times when you feel both good and bad on your journey, but the one thing that I can promise you is that you'll always feel better about yourself in the end. You can also be thankful for who you were in the past, right? Even though you weren't perfect, at the very least you tried, right? I can look back at 20-year-old me and be thankful for who the person that I was, right? I can look back at 19-year-old me and be thankful that he started doing what he did, because I'm a better person now because of that. And I can thank my past self while still being in my present self, chasing and working towards becoming my future self and being even better, and repeating this process as I go, so that when I'm older, I can look back at, my 21-year-old self, and I can be like, I'm happy for that guy. I'm proud of him. All right. I'm happy for that guy. I'm proud of him. He did his thing, and I'm glad that he tried. He wasn't perfect. He had a lot of mistakes and did a lot of dumb things. He was young, but he tried. All right. And that's what you want to do, is just try. A lot of people, you would be so surprised how many people, they don't even try. And a lot of people, they don't try simply just because they don't believe, right? I'm going to link a video to that, why it's important to believe in yourself. Y'all go run that up too. But it's just try, bro. I promise you, bro. Just try this. Give it a try. The worst thing that happens is you go a couple days, or you go a little bit of time without releasing. I promise you, you're not going to die. But the biggest thing to remember above all else, and I wanted to end on this, and that is, this practice is all about purpose. If you do not have a purpose that you are actively and daily working on towards this journey, you're going to fail. This will not work for you. And I'm not even talking about failing isn't like relapses. Your semen retention is not going to work for you. This is not meant for you. If you don't have a why that you keep pursuing and you keep chasing after and you keep working towards, you're going to, the voices, the urges, the lust, all that stuff is just going to catch up to you, and you're not going to have a defense, and you're going to fall victim to it. I promise you. Every single time. You need to be working on something. You need to have goals. You need to have a drive about yourself, or that pleasure is going to catch up with you. That desire for pleasure is going to catch up with you, right? And you can feel proud when you're on this journey. You can feel proud knowing that you're becoming the person capable of fulfilling your purpose and achieving your goals, right? Don't worry so much about being successful right now. Focus on becoming the person who can be successful. Focus on the person who can not only attain but maintain, because a lot of people, they're attaining wealth but they're not maintaining wealth anymore, and that's because they're getting it so fast and not focusing on the process, and there is no real process. The process is very cheap and short and counterfeit, that when they finally do get it, they get it too fast, and because of that they fall apart, right? So just take your time, what I'm saying? Let it take you a couple years. Take your time on this journey. Really focus on improving yourself, focus on the process like we talked about, and I promise you, you will definitely see benefits. It will definitely benefit you in your life, even if it's not all 5 or whatever we talked about. Even if you don't see all of those, I promise you, you will experience at least 2 on this journey. If you apply what I said and what I've talked about in this video, I promise you it will be profitable to you, right? But anyways, I'm not going to take too much longer. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it to this point in the video, please make sure to like, make sure to share if you want. I'm not gonna force you or beg you to. If you feel that somebody could use this message, please share it to them though. And also make sure to comment, and definitely make sure to subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, let me know by hitting that subscribe button, and also turn on that post notifications bell, and I will definitely be seeing you guys in a video very soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.